Tabby here, and we're back for Expecting Unexpected by Arctic Vulpix. And the last chapter was night 2 again, or night 2, take 2, I guess. With Ruby going on a complete sugar rush, and honestly, I think that was my favorite chapter of the FNAF 2 portion of this story. So she was just very amusing, and I was just having fun with it, basically. So, but yeah. We're on chapter 24, and as always, if you want to follow along, link to the chapter will be in the description below, as always. So, let's get started. Chapter 24, Reflections. Ruby stared at her ceiling thoughtfully. It had been between her afternoon nap and her shift, and she found herself thinking about, well, a number of things. Forefront on her mind were the personalities of all her new coworkers. She'd had a few days to learn about them by now, and she was thinking the information over. Compared to her bots, they were exceptionally different. More different than she thought was possible, since they were supposed to have similar but new and improved programming. New and improved? Right, she muttered. Toy Freddy was the least annoying of the bunch. He seemed like more of a stick in the mud than Freddy, though. She had often heard him going on and on about rules she had visited for the interviews. He was a walking, talking rulebook, it seemed. Freddy may have been stern, sure, but even he would bend the rules now and then. And he knew how to have fun. She groaned as she remembered one incident the previous night. She'd hit Toy Freddy with a water gun. He had whined. Actually, honestly whined about it. She rolled her eyes at the thought. Then he tried to shout a lecture about improper use of water in the pizzeria at her while she ran away. Just really? She shook her head while covering her eyes. At least Toy Bunny knew how to have fun, but wow. She had never wanted to kill someone so damn badly in her life. He was beyond annoying and obnoxious. He also had the worst superiority problem out of the group. She'd seen him playing with some kids, and he still looked obnoxious while he did it. She really didn't know what the manufacturers had been thinking with him. Let's make him as annoying and full of himself as possible. Probably. She rubbed her face and then propped her head up in her hands on the table, staring blankly at the computer in front of her. And he never shuts up, she muttered to herself. Ever. Sure, Bonnie was a prankster, mischievous, with maybe a little bit of an ego, but he was nowhere near as bad as that Barbie rabbit. This wasn't even her personal preferences coming into play. She couldn't believe these badly behaved, ill-controlled animatronics had actually been brought in to replace the originals. If it were up to her, they would have been back in the boxes the day after their arrival. These screams were also ridiculously girly. Then there was Toy Chica. Oh, how she wanted a mute button. She never stopped talking about the most ridiculous things, too. She squealed and giggled incessantly, and was just all around annoying. She also complained every time she got hit with a prank, saying that she was dirty now. She cleaned herself up after every single prank, it seemed. Unless she needed help. Then she had to wait, and then she complained. Just thinking about those three were giving Ruby a headache. Nagel, well, she didn't seem so bad. She was insanely shy, playing with the younger kids when Ruby had seen her. She still couldn't talk, and she'd admit that everything about the poor bot set off her sympathy alarms. She'd been trying not to bother her every night. Still, she couldn't shake off the feeling that there was more to Nagel than she was showing. After all, cute animals could still bite. She started doodling on a piece of paper on the table. She tried to get some information about pizzeria off the internet again, and once again, nothing. Her mind drifted to the other toys. BB, well, she'd be surprised if they found him anytime soon. She snickered to herself. It was going to be hilarious when they found him. Eventually. She really needed to figure out how to make the fake cannons in Pirate Cove to fire the annoying bowling ball. What had they been thinking when they made him? Maybe it was effective. Then there was the clown, or the puppet, or whatever. He was still creepy as anything. Maybe if she stuck a picture of a face on his mask, it would make it better. She mulled over that thought for a while, but to do that, she would have to get close to him. What did he even do in the pizzeria, anyway? She hadn't seen him away from the room his box was in, and she certainly hadn't gone in there willingly yet. So what was his job? She gave about 5 seconds to that thought before his face creeped her out again and she moved on. Finally, there was Hebe. Really, Ruby didn't know what to think of her. She was obviously there for a reason, and Ruby really needed to stop getting distracted from asking her about her Uncle Scott, but she just couldn't figure her out. She wasn't blind either. She noticed that Hebe was never in the same room as her box when she was alone, always having the toys or Ruby with her. She also never met Foxy's eyes. Glitches weren't something that she missed, so if he was so scared of the originals, then why was she there? And why didn't she seem bothered by the toys? The puppet was just a pain, so why put up with him? She seemed to can't get annoyed with Toy Bonnie and Baby as well. She also ignored Toy Chica's endless talking sometimes. Seems she was pretty close to Toy Freddy and Mangled though. She didn't seem to be supporting their night guard murder desire, however, which didn't make a lot of sense. She was friends with them, but was on Ruby's side in the whole killing night guards thing. She used to work there, but she was scared of the originals. She had also called Steve Uncle Scott. Why was she there? Ruby glared at the screen since no answers magically popped into her head. She sighed and leaned back in the chair to stare at the ceiling again. All in all, she didn't know how Edie tolerated those toys. They acted like teenagers sometimes. Sat bolt upright, mouth popping open in a silent "Oh, you've got to be kidding me," she muttered. She looked at the time. It was still far too early, but she needed to talk to the fox. Just she just waited out there. She grabbed her bag and almost ran to Freddy's. The bots were just about to relax in preparation for the new night when Ruby burst through the doors. "Ruby?" Freddy asked in surprise, the rest of the gang looking over. Luckily, the toys were already in the other room. "A little early there, lass." Foxy frowned at her confusion. It was only 11. "They're teenagers!" she exclaimed, waving her hand in the direction of the doorway that led to the toys. There was a moment of perplexed silence. "What?" Bonnie asked, tilting his head. Goldie materialized and felt her temperature. "No fever," she frowned. Ruby waved her away. "The toys! They act like teenagers. Or stereotypical ones, at least," she amended. She was a teenager, too, after all. Uh, Still not following, Chica admitted. Ruby took a few deep breaths to calm herself down. "How much experience did they get? Working?" she asked. "About a month, maybe?" Freddie frowned, trying to think. "Well," Ruby looked at them all. "Compared to you guys, they're still kids. Never mind teenagers." They still looked confused, but Freddie looked like he was catching on. "When you guys started, you weren't like are now, right? Experience changes you," Ruby pushed, trying to get them to realize it. Freddie nodded thoughtfully. "We were really different." Goldie got on next. "Oh yeah!" Bonnie was way more reckless until his one prank almost got someone hurt. Freddie had to learn when to make exceptions to the rules. Chica couldn't cook, and Foxy was actually kind of mean. So experience made you guys work on the flaws until you became better bots. Ruby nodded her head. The toys never did that. It finally hit the others. "They never learned to temper their flaws," Chica murmured. Everyone looked thoughtful. Toy Bonnie's annoying and short-tempered and all that, but he hasn't had a reason to try and change that yet. Chica is still insanely selfish, but because she doesn't know better. Toy Freddy's still so obsessed with rules because he hasn't learned they need to be ignored sometimes. Ruby was pacing. "They never had the experiences like you that taught them to change. You've been in storage, where those personality flaws just remain stagnant. Or, sorry, they've been in storage where those personality flaws just remain stagnant." Foxy frowned. "Nagels changed quite a bit last. I'll admit she was a bit bloodthirsty girl back then." Ruby shrugged. "I think something happened to change her. I don't know her since she's always hiding away. The puppet's been around pretty long too, Goldie added. He's been around for almost as long as I have. Then he's just a creep. She waved her hand dismissively. Why is this important? Bunny asked. Because that means they can still change. She grinned at them. They can still learn, and then they won't be such a pain to work with. You're optimistic, Goldie muttered. They were surprised that Ruby was so willing to give the toys a chance. Their group was a little divided on the subject. Freddie and Chica were curious, while the others were grudging. Oh, but experiences? They can hurt. Ruby's signature smirk reappeared on her face. Oh, so that was what she was going for. That made more sense. What are you planning last? Foxy asked, fighting a grin. They need a few decades of experiences if those feelings of superiority are going to get squashed. So I'm going to focus on knocking them down a peg or two. Or 10. She looked almost giddy with excitement. Up until now, it was just revenge. Now it's revenge and teaching them a few lessons. I like teaching lessons. Might not be so easy, Freddie warned her. They're really influenced by the puppet. Ruby looked thoughtful. And you're sure the wood chipper is out? Yes, Freddie answered sternly. Fine. Then whatever he says, I'll prove him wrong, she shrugged. You seem very into this, Goldie pointed out. Oh, yes. There is nothing I like more than knocking some jerks down and showing them that they are not the center of the solar system. She rubbed her hands together in anticipation. They looked at each other for a moment before shrugging. There wasn't much of a point in trying to stop her once her mind was made up. Katie was packing her bag and expecting her tools in preparation for the night, but her mind was elsewhere. Her thoughts were stuck on the night guard, of course. The girl was just too strange. She didn't make much sense. She freely put herself in harm's way, for what reason? She was already proven that she could easily avoid the toys by using the fence. Having the originals helping her would have guaranteed that she wouldn't be in any danger. This still wasn't even going to bring about a permanent solution. If she won, the toys would just have to wait until she left the job to continue. Did she even think this through? The mechanic mumbled to herself, worrying her brown lip. Strangely enough, she also didn't seem to be trying to get rid of them, even though she clearly preferred the originals. She was just trying to win. And annoy everyone as a side effect. There was still chocolate in her chair. Kitty put her back down and rubbed her face. Was there any logic to Ruby's thought process or actions? Probably not. She seemed to be trying to accomplish something, though. She'd already temporarily stopped the original killing night guards, although he didn't really know the story of how. That was more than had managed, though. She'd come here to, what, prove herself? Stop any more murders? She wasn't really sure anymore, actually. Ruby didn't seem to need much help, and Hebe couldn't even look at the originals without breaking into a cold sweat. Her brother's story still echoed in her mind. She shook her head and sighed, rubbing her face. Then there was that unexpected part of Uncle Scott leaving those tapes. She was curious about why Ruby called him Steve, though. I wonder how Uncle Scott's doing, she murmured. She hadn't seen him in a long time. Maybe when Ruby actually stops giving me death every time I talk to her, I can ask if she knows where he is. Ruby glanced at the clock for the 5th time that minute. She was itching to start the night, fueled by her interesting realization. I'm actually feeling sorry for the toys now, Foxy murmured softly to Freddie. Freddie nodded his head slowly in agreement. I'm not, Bonnie grinned. You never got rid of that vindicated floor, Freddie rolled his eyes. The rabbit shrugged, going back to cleaning his guitar. Goldie and Chica were setting up the projector and going over the movies Ruby had, while she paced back and forth, eyes on the clock. When it finally hit 5 to 12, she grinned and started heading to the office. Class in session, kids. She skipped out of the room. The butts watched her go. I'm really glad that the nostalgia saved us from that level of sadism, Bonnie admitted. They was all nodded. We didn't ask where Balloon Boy is, Goldie realized. Not a problem, Foxy shrugged. We'll find him eventually. Freddie didn't look interested. Foxy grinned at him. She really is a bad influence on you too. And that's the end of chapter 24. So yeah, if you liked the video, uh, leave a like. Be sure to subscribe for more stuff like this. And before you leave a comment, go leave a review. Leave a review because I didn't write this. I have nothing to do with this. It was the Orpha who wrote this. So show them some love. Leave a review. You don't have to have an account. You can leave a guest review or review as a guest. So don't need to go through the Kavaffle Baking account. You just leave a review. It just means they can't reply. They will respond back to you. But yeah. But if you do leave a review, let me know afterwards. Come back. Let me know what you think too. Because leave a review first, then come back. Okay? Good? We good? Yep. Okay. You guys go do that. And be sure to subscribe. I upload new videos every Friday. And I will see you guys next Friday with a new video.